All right, everyone. This is Frederick Jones, the founder of MyFutprint Entertainment and the creator of all of our publications from Saturday AM to Saturday Plus, Afternoon WebX, and our well-read line, our ebook line. Welcoming you to a very special chat this evening. We're on the holidays, 2014. I wanted to have a chance to chat with everybody about some of the upcoming exciting things we have coming up. Also to talk about this crazy year that's ending. And it was a last minute setup for a conversation. So we understand that there may be several people who are finding about it at the last minute. We'll see if we can keep the conversation going for a little while. So feel free to hop on if you're ready. As always, when we do these conversations, you are able to communicate um, via Facebook fan page. So that's www.facebook.com/Saturday AM, one word. You're certainly welcome to post a comment via that, or you can post a comment via our, well, I've drawn a blank here, via Google Hangout, which case we have a very sophisticated Google Hangout system. You can use the Google app if you're running Chrome, and you can post comments directly through there via the Q&A app functionality that's built into the Hangouts application, or you can post it just through the Google Talk function for this particular chat. Again, I know this is very last minute, but I fortunately had some free time this evening. We have so many exciting things coming up, and then we finished off what was our huge year, our very first year. So I wanted to have a chance to talk directly to our fans. I know a lot of people have questions on things like test flight and subscription and just a variety of the tanks and a variety of things from there. So I just wanted to have this opportunity to chat directly with our fans who've always supported us this last year. And that's what we're going to do. So again, if you are with us, thank you for joining us. If you'd like to tell people about it, please do. Have them come check us out, because as you guys know, those of you who've been a part of these before, we have a ball with these. We're very open. We don't hide a lot of things. We love to have conversations with you guys. So feel free to have your friends join our chat. We'll see if we can keep it going as long as possible, but we're scheduled to run for at least an hour. So why don't we, just to start off real quickly, just once again, give a couple of important information about what we are, what we have. Again, my name is Frederick Jones. I am the founder of MyFutprint Entertainment, and I'm the publisher for all of our digital lines. We have Saturday AM, which is our flagship line. It's a digital manga anthology similar to Shonen Jump. We have Saturday Plus, which is our newest publication. Again, it's a digital manga magazine anthology format. Features all of our new creators and new concepts. And that is similar to, if you are familiar with the Japanese manga scene, it's similar to, in some ways, Jump Live, which is our newest publication, direct digital only. And then we have Afternoon WebX, which is a daily webcomic vehicle where we are able to take some really beloved properties and put them in a format which is very easy to discover for consumers. So, if you're a fan of, for example, a work like Storybook by Andrew Sterling or Rough House by Jordan Cook, you can discover those works because they update same time every week on a particular day. So it makes it a very easy process to follow some of your favorite webcomics. We have very big plans in 2015, things that will hopefully take MyFutprint and those brands we just talked about to the next level. Of course, one of the things that makes us possible to do that is our backgrounds, our dedication, the fact that we are all united around this company, and the fact that we have some of the best exclusive creators in the webcomic space, from White Manga, who does Apple Black, to Andrea Voros, who does Saigami, two of our most popular works, to Raymond Brown, who does Bully Eater, Wally Wynn, who does Comatose, and so on. So there's a lot of opportunities there for people to chat with us. So for us to have such a huge reach. Now, one thing I just noticed, and that's why I kind of fumbled the line there, is that it looks like our Q&A functionality has been disabled. I don't know why that is, and I don't know why it's not enabling itself once I click it. So unfortunately, we will not be able to use the Q&A function. You certainly can access the group chat window, which should be pretty easy to do. And if not, you can contact us via the Facebook fan page. So feel free to reach out to us. Do not hesitate to reach out to us. We are available. Those of you who are part of our private group, the Facebook group for Saturday Pilot Manga, certainly can post comments and questions there, and I will answer those as well. So again, we've got a big conversation here. We're hoping to touch on many things. So why don't we first recap a little bit about what happened this year. We debuted in November of 2013. So we actually debuted a little over a year with our first issue. And what we did when we set up our first issue was that we set it up in a way that was basically was like a trial beta issue. So it was the first issue. It had all our key content players in it. It was White Manga, Eric Michael Ella, Raymond Brown, and Wally Wynn, and we just produced this fantastic work that gave people a chance to see what we were about. We had a couple of interviews in there, and it was just a really nice production. Not our best design, but no one had done anything like it at that point. So we produced that. It came out, I think, the weekend of like November 17th, and had some great downloads, great traffic. People started talking about it on DeviantArt and Inkblazers, so we knew that we were going in the right direction. And we basically took the remainder of that holiday season and the start of the year to put together the work so that we could launch it officially as a digital manga magazine, debuting every 2 weeks. And that's what we did starting in January, around the 20th of January in 2014. We relaunched the first issue of Saturday AM, and then took it wide from there. 2 weeks later, we had the second issue, and just went on from there. So very cool setup, and we had a lot of success with that. About a month and a week or so later, we debuted Afternoon WebX, which featured Rough House and Storybook and Spoon by David Yoon. And again, tremendous success. We had a lot of traffic coming in for that. And we went through our first 5 issues with no problem for Saturday AM. We also had Afternoon WebX. And then we got to issue number 6. We debuted our first side manga that debuted exclusively there. That was Tony Saavedra, who did a book called The Arrogance of Athena. And it was interesting work. Tony was a very popular mangaka illustrator on Inkblazers, and so this was a unique opportunity for him to actually do a sequential work. And the results were mixed. I don't know if Tony had tremendous success with it. We didn't see a tremendous amount of success with it, but it was great to give him a platform where he could try to tell his story. And then we subsequently brought on other creators. We had Race On, which was a property that we helped resurrect because it had been dormant for quite a while on Inkblazers, for over a year on Inkblazers when we found it. And we were like, hey, we want you guys to reconnect and come join Saturday AM. We later on debuted one of the most prominent African-American female creators with Beverly Toole, with a book she had called Cathero. So we were very excited about that. And of course, we had Mythalica Lux Nova debut from Mikhail Dingle. All along, then we finally had TTX from Vertical Fish, who was also a popular Inkblazer creator. And then I finally had my manga come to fruition in issue 17, Master Mode: The Play World of the Ghost, only to see it kind of fall off the wayside yet again. So we had a very interesting year, that we had all this activity inside of Saturday AM with some great interviews from David Brothers, who was a big editor over at Image, to the guys who did the Rona project, the guy who did the Rona project. We had some amazing content all throughout. We had free music. We had some digital music discovery from brand new artists. So it was a really big year. And then we capped it all off with 2 big things: the launch of a second manga anthology called Saturday Plus, which featured all of new creators who have never been seen before anywhere on the web, that in terms of Inkblazer, Surpassing, stuff like that. who came in with us. We got them, kind of speaking in the language that we wanted to have our creators speak in, and they've knocked it out the park. They've got some of the best original webcomic material out there. So we're really proud of Saturday Plus. That's just been a huge hit for us. And then we debuted our first print edition, which was Saturday Tanks, which is our brand new graphic novel line where we take our existing content per series and collect it into a graphic novel. Our very first one was our most popular series, Apple Black by White Manga, and it's been hugely well received by you guys. And so it's been a great year, and we finished that with the debut, a special debut for our subscribers of Saturday AM, the 0 issue. So we shipped 20 issues of Saturday AM, 2 issues of Saturday Plus, a special 0 issue of Saturday AM, a 21st issue, if you will. And then we also were able to do a failed Kickstarter, do a Saturday Tank, a brand new graphic novel version of Apple Black, and just a variety of other projects that we did that you guys never saw, such as, redoing our website multiple times, adding a forum into our website, putting an embed system into our website so you can actually read comics on our site without just keeping it kind of in a very nice presentation format. This has been an amazing, interesting year for us for what we wanted to do with webcomics, and to see what we've been able to accomplish so far with webcomics. It's just been a really amazing year. And obviously, we finished the year with the successes, and we also finished the year knowing that the industry is changing rapidly. We saw the demise of Ink Blazers, or at least the announcement of their demise. We see Tapastic adding, many of the Ink Blazer creators over there, and creating kind of a new platform for how they're going to do their comics. So it's been interesting. It's been a really interesting time, and we are extremely excited about what we've got planned for 2014. So that's what I can say in terms of the stuff that we've got. Let's see here. Like I said, unfortunately, the Q&A functionality is broken, so you can't post questions there. I'm a little frustrated about that, so I do apologize for that. You can use the Google chat window. You certainly can chat there, or you can post comments again inside of Facebook. You can post them inside of our Facebook fan page, or you can post them inside of our private group, which is our Saturday pilot manga group. But we know you guys have many questions. That's why I'm doing this, so I can answer some of the questions that I'm sure are there. So I'm just going to take a moment to pause here and check and see what else is there. So give you guys time to communicate there. So feel free to shoot some questions in. Again, if you're not familiar with who we are, if you are a manga or webcomic creator, or creator hopeful, we are Saturday AM. We're actually MyFutprint Entertainment is the name of the company. We publish 4 different lines. Saturday AM, which is our flagship line. You can follow the information about that at www.saturday-am.com. We also have 3 other publications: Saturday Plus, which is a sister publication of Saturday AM; Afternoon WebX, which is a daily webcomics line; and then Well Read, which we're going to be talking about more seriously in 2015, which is an ebook line. So we have lots of stuff there. I see we've got a couple of questions inside of the chat window, as well as within the Facebook. So give me one moment. Again, if you've got questions, feel free to post them, and we'll get ready here in just a moment. All right, so the first question here is from McClam Changemeyer, and I believe I'm Changemeyer. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. I hope I am. All All right, he asked, I'm still writing my first arc. How would I get my manga comic post for Saturday AM? So thank you, McClam. So a couple of comments to that. Great question. First of all, so again, what makes us unique is that we are not Ink Blazers or Smack G's or Tapastic. We're not set up like they are. They are systems that are kind of social. They call them social systems, social commerce. They are crowdsourced, if you will. So basically, what that means is, they thrive off of lots of creators posting content to them, right? You create the content for them, and we're not quite set up that way. I mean, we see ourselves as a traditional publisher, so we have a focus in terms of what we're trying to produce, and that does not mean that we're shonen only. That does not mean that we're action oriented only, stuff like that. But it does mean that we're focused on a particular type of aesthetic and a particular type of voice, a particular type of creator even that necessitates that we focus on those type of opportunities versus trying to manage, the variety and the diversity that comes from some of these other websites. And it's not a good or bad thing. We're not set up to do the stuff that they do. So what you see from us is a more focused type of output. When you look at titles like Spoon and Storybook and Rough House and Wanted Dead or Dead or Afternoon with X, those are 4 webcomics that are totally different from each other. They come from different types of personalities. They come from different nationalities even. They come from different perspectives. And they're also different genres. All of them are different genres. Spoon is totally different from Storybook as Storybook is from Wanted Dead or Dead, or Wanted Dead or Dead is from Rough House. They're all totally different. That's just WebX. If you look at what our newest line we just launched, Saturday Plus, it's the same thing. We have Comet Man from Frederick Ward, which is, it's like it's like the coolest cartoon that you would see on Cartoon Network, like in the 7 o'clock time frame, like regular show, and except it's kind of superhero-y. Very funny, very just quirky, cool. Then you've got Gray Zone by Justin Aninacion, which is very similar, which is a shonen manga. I mean, that's a straight up shonen manga. It's beautiful to look at. It's got a really great concept about limbo and characters who walk this limbo environment trying to get back to the land of the living. And it's got great character designs, and it's just totally shonen. Then you've got Islanders, which is unlike anything that we publish. It is completely different. It's one piece with a lot of edge and ethnicity and culture built into it. It's an amazing work. And that's just 2 of our lines, right? That's not counting Well Read. That's not counting Saturday AM. So the point is that, so we're not the place, and we get these notes a lot, and we love getting the notes, but we're not the place where the conceit or the thought is, okay, well, how do I get my work in your magazine? We're not that place. We're the place where you believe in what you're trying to do, and you send it to us, and you go through our pilot manga group. And if we like your work, or you do your work somewhere else, you do it on Tapastic, you do it on Ink Blazers, you do it on, wherever, you do it on your own website. And if we discover you, or if you come through us, like, we're going to choose the sort of content that we think is great, and then we're going to work with you to make it even better. And then from there, it'll be the right thing to do. So in terms of you wanting to create content for us, that's great. I mean, that says that what we're doing in terms of trying to create a brand is working in terms of aspiring creators who are as talented as you are. But in terms of how you get it into us, that's really not the mentality to have. The mentality to have is, you are going to be a manga webcomic creator. You're going to be. That's the mentality to have. It doesn't matter if Saturday M's in the picture or not. You're going to be that creator. Because I can tell you now that the biggest thing that we've seen it with the creators that are with us or no longer with us. We see it with the creators who we just decided not to work with. We see it across the webcomic spectrum. Is that part of the problem that webcomics has in 2014, and probably the case in 2015, is that there's such a lack of appreciation for webcomics, both from the fans, the people who supposedly like webcomics, to the creators of webcomics. There's such a lack of appreciation for the form that it just ends up being this notion that, well, hey, I can draw a little bit, or, I got all these ideas for stories. I like to come up with a lot of fan fiction ideas. And, as if somehow, those two sentiments just become the dominant thinking for people to believe that that means therefore then that, hey, you publish my work because, I like to come up with ideas for stories, or I like to draw on the back of my notepad. That's not enough. It's not enough. For you to actually want to make a career at webcomics need you to truly believe it, to truly fight for it. And so if you don't have that mentality, like I said, if your first question is, how do I get to Saturday AM? And your first question is not, I'm going to be a webcomic creator. So how do I get there? How do I get to become a professional webcomic creator who can sustain myself doing what I love? If that's not your first mentality, you got to really think about whether or not this is what you want to do, because it's lonely. You're not going to make a lot of money up front. In fact, you'll be lucky if you make any money up front. It's difficult. But our efforts are designed to try to create an apparatus for the creator to succeed. And as a result of that, we have to have creators and concepts that are built for success. It doesn't mean you have to be the best artist in the world. It doesn't mean you have to write the best stories in the world. It does mean you need to have a sense of originality. You have to have a sense of drive. You have to be willing to fight for the position. Because if you're not, if you think it's just supposed to be given to you because, hey, this is the internet and everybody creates stuff and everybody can post stuff on Facebook or DeviantArt and so forth, if you believe that, then that doesn't really fit with us. And so that's the challenge. You've got to want it more than anything else. You've got to be willing to fight for it. You've got to believe that you are going to make it happen. To that end, we have our pilot manga group. You can find it on our website. In fact, if you're watching this video right now, you're watching it on our website, www.saturday-am.com/pilot-manga. That's where you are right now if you're watching this video. And if you're watching this video right now on that page, scroll up and down on that page. If you got low bandwidth, wait until this video is over. But scroll up and down that page and check out the creators who've won our test flights in the past. Check out the rules to actually join the test flight. If not for this upcoming test flight, then the next one. Look at the people who won. That's why we post them up there. Look at the people who won. Look at what made their works original and ask yourself, do you have something original? Ask yourself if you have something that truly excites people. I'm sure you do. But that's the mentality to have. That's what's going to get you within, not per se Saturday AM either, Afternoon WebX or Saturday Plus or Saturday AM. Saturday AM, of course, the most difficult one to get into because frankly, it's part of the subscription package that we offer. That is part of a subscription. People don't get that for free. So in other words, if you can't inspire people to buy what you do, then Saturday AM is probably not the place you're going to be in initially. So hopefully that answers McClam's question. But again, do go to the page. And let me say as well, for those of you who are just tuning into this, our pilot manga group is a private group that we have on Saturday A&M on our Facebook fan page. It is ridiculous, the talent that we have there. We have some incredibly talented people, from Shasta Stedman to Alvaro Sanchez Byrne, and just many creators from there. Many creators I'm actually looking forward to. Christopher Crady, I'm looking forward to seeing what he comes up with. Mark Reed, who just won our last test flight that we did, which was a totally different type of test flight. He did a story based on one of our creators' original works called Dreamwalker. He did a short story version of that per the test flight and knocked it out the park. 5-page story, fantastic, beautiful, haunting, great story, beautiful color. He knocked it out the park. And we published it in the second issue of Saturday Plus, sorry. So amazing talent within our test flight and our pilot manga group, and we only expect that to get bigger. If you want to join it, go to www.saturday-am.com/pilot-manga/. Why join it? Because you'll be around a community of people who are serious about making webcomics. 2, you'll be that much closer to working with creators who you probably admire. People like Raymond Brown and Wally Wynn of Comatose and White Manga of Apple Black, Andrea Voros, who creates Saigami, David Yoon, who creates Spoon. You have a chance. You'll be that much closer to talking with those guys and picking their brains, learning from them exactly how they've been able to persevere creating a webcomic for so long and be successful at it. So if you're serious about this as an opportunity for yourself, for your artistic skills, if you're serious about wanting to network and learn and build a community of individuals who you can work with, join the Pilot Manga. It's free. Just go into our website, get the information, go through the form on our website, and get to where you need to be. We have another question from Kinshaw Mashaw, who says he understands that in the current Pilot Manga, everyone gets their entries published, and the #1 entry gets an Apple Black volume. But is that the only reward? Is there a possibility for an entry to get picked up by the SatAM team and become a regular in WebEx, SatAM, etc.? So another great question from one of our Pilot Manga individuals. Again, if you want to post a question, if you're not a member of our Pilot Manga group on Facebook, which is a private group, then become a member of our Facebook fan page and post a comment there. We're taking comments out of one of those locations. And again, we apologize that the Q&A functionality on the Google Hangouts is not working. Please ask questions, by the way, about our 2015 plans and about our Saturday tanks and about our subscription, because those are all things I can tell you there are going to be some new ideas coming for those things. So if you want to know about them, ask about them. Otherwise, I may forget to bring it up. So we got quite a few questions here, but let me answer Kinshaw's question. So Kinshaw asks a great question. He says, in the current Pilot Manga test flight, which is our competition every month, everyone gets their entries published, which is one of the things that we said. And the #1 entry gets an Apple Black volume. And then he says, but is that the only reward? Is there a possibility for an entry to get picked up by the Saturday AM team and become a regular in WebEx or Saturday AM and so on? So there were a couple of things there. Let's answer those individually. #1, in our current test flight, which is ending, I believe, January 5th. I need to double check the dates on that. I apologize. I believe it's ending January 5th, and then we'll announce the next test flight immediately after that. Everyone's entries get published. So the short answer is yes. We're going to be announcing exactly how that happens. But #1, let's rephrase that. Let's rephrase how that sounds, because that's not exactly true. Basically, you have to work hard to not get published, basically. You have to either give us an idea that is totally a rip-off of something else, which would violate copyright rules, unless you're doing satire, which quite a few of you guys are not doing satire. #2, you violate our rules about our standards of publication. So if you try to have a comic concept in there that's got naked women or naked men or sexual situations or very violent imagery or very adult language, inappropriate or derogatory characters in regards to how they treat other characters, or in terms of people who are different genders, different sexuality, different race, different nationalities, different religions. We have a whole host of rules we've always had. And so violate any of those and you will not get published. So in other words, it's not a situation where everyone's going to get published. In fact, more than likely, there's going to be a handful of people who get published. But the difference here is that in the past, what happened was that we would choose a winner and we'd choose a runner-up, and we'd always work with both. But then we discovered that there were a handful of individuals that we said were really good, and they just lost out from being in that top position. And the one who really started this was Frederick Ward, who we now publish as Comment Man. He was in our very first test flight, and he came in a very close #3 behind Philippa Borman and Justin Onision. And all three of them have gone on to produce work for Saturday AM. And we looked at Frederick and we're like, we don't want to not work with someone who's this talented just because we had this arbitrary rule about choosing 2 people. So every month after that, for the test flights that we did, we started, opening the net and working with people who were maybe runners up we thought had really good talent. That wasn't everybody. That wasn't every runner up. In fact, there was one, quote unquote controversy because we had a couple of runners up that we would have worked with, but again, just the behavior didn't dictate that we should work with them. So the bottom line here is that, yeah, I think ultimately for us, yeah, not everybody's gonna get published. You'll get published if you meet the criteria, and how we publish it will be something that we'll detail at a later date. But yeah, you have a chance of being published, and again, you have to work really hard basically to not get published through Saturday AM. So again, it's not like Tapastic or Ink Blazers. You don't have a carte blanche to get in, and you just don't. And there may be something that we say, technically this is all right, but again, this is so similar to Dragon Ball or so similar to Apple Black, or the character design is literally the exact same as Bully Eater, and so we just like, we can't publish this. So expect that to happen more frequently than what it sounds like in those rules, because that's the reality, is that we're not going to be publishing everything. Number two, the number one entry gets an Apple Black volume. That's correct. The number one entry does get an Apple Black volume. It's our very first Saturday tank, which is what we're calling our collected versions of our content featuring our main series. The next one is Saigami by Andrea Voros. So yeah, that's a big prize. It saves you $13 plus shipping. So yeah. Then they asked the question, Kenshaw's last question is there a possibility for an entry to get picked up by the Saturday AM team and become a regular in WebEx or Saturday AM? And the answer to that is of course. I mean, but not through that. I mean, the possibility has always been there. I mean, Islanders and Gray Zone and Comic Man are on probation. We're publishing their pilot manga, so it's running in so many issues of Saturday Plus. Once that ends, they may all go away, or we may keep them on, or we may upgrade them to something else. But the Plus manga anthology that we do is strictly to debut new creators, and what we choose to do with those creators after that is strictly down to what we see in their work effort. I mean, our objective, as I said at the very start of this, is not to, we're not trying. I have no intention of being a gatekeeper, but my background is that I try to find winners, content that really is going to make a difference in the world of webcomics, and from that perspective, we try to find creators who are really talented, who have something to say with their creations, who are dedicated, who are professional in terms of how they carry themselves. The internet and many of the webcomic creators out there are very young. And so, you find yourself when you're trying to get business done dealing with levels of immaturity. We don't do that. We don't do that. I mean, you display some of that with us and we'll cut you loose in a heartbeat. So those are some of the elements there to, again, where, for some creators, we're gladly like, hey, you know what? Tapastic, Ink Blazers, those places are probably better suited for you. With us, it's totally different. You can, it's like the military. Expect to get your butt kicked a little bit, because we want to simulate the real world. And if you work at Marvel or DC or Image, you're not going to be treated like you're a rock star. You're going to be treated like you're someone who has potential to be great, and you got to be, moved in the right direction to produce the right type of content, to maximize your skills in the right way, and to meet a level of professional conduct that befits the position that you hope to have one day, which is to be a superstar webcomic creator, at the very least to be a webcomic creator who actually can pay your bills because of your webcomic work. If that's what you strive for, I can assure you that, that just, if you've never done anything like that before, that it's going to be a change in your behavior, a change in your organization, a change in your professionalism that you'll have to enact. And we're going to help make that happen. And either that works for you or it doesn't. And so from all those perspectives, just because we agree to publish your work, there's no way guarantees that you'll get a place long-term within Saturday AM Afternoon WebEx or Plus. Your due diligence and your professionalism is what will enable you to get a position going forward. And that's the key thing. So hopefully that answers that question from Kinshaw. Again, we have many questions here. I see we've got some people as well who are trying to join the Pilot Manga group. So I will see if I can make some of that happen. Again, if you've got questions, I apologize. The Q&A app functionality is not working. So if you've done this before with us and you're used to posting a comment in Q&A, it's not working. So I apologize. At least I can't see it. So please post your comment in group chat. If not posting it in group chat, please post it inside of our Facebook fan page, which you can find at www.facebook.com/Saturday AM/. Or if you are a member of our Pilot Manga group, publish your comment there within Pilot Manga. Let's see here. So let's see. Okay, so looks like we got some. I was trying to see some of the. Okay, so Clam Changma, right? So he had written another question, and let's see. So again, we had a question from an individual who asked the same thing about how do they get published inside of Saturday AM, and hopefully we answered that just now. Hopefully I just answered that for you guys just now. Let's see here. Okay. All right. So those are some of the questions that were there. Let's talk real quickly about, and then again, if you've got questions, I'll get to those. Let's talk quickly about Saturday Plus or each of our lines. So Saturday Plus, we had our second issue come out. What we are doing is we are weekly putting some of that content. So what happens is Saturday Plus is available for our subscribers for free, and they get it early. And then a little while later, we debut the issue in full on our website. And then a little while later, we debut pieces of it on other websites that we think are potential places to expose to our content. So right now, we're currently putting some of our Saturday Plus material on Tapastic. So if you visit tapastic.com, you can certainly look for MyFutprint, and you can find all the stuff that we have up there. We'll be putting more stuff up there over time. Again, just because we believe that that every chance that we can expose people to the work that we're doing is great. We're not going to change our business model at all, though. People who subscribe to us will always be getting Saturday AM, and no one else will get Saturday AM. So the only subscribers get Saturday AM. Past that, Saturday Plus had 2 issues come out this year. It was a huge opportunity for us. We're very excited by the results. Hopefully you guys have had a chance to check it out. It is now on hiatus. It will return on January 10th with the issue number 3. And at that point, then we will begin the system that we have, which basically you'll only be able to get Saturday Plus on our through our website, through our website, and or being a subscriber. Saturday AM returns on the 31st. We have a huge issue planned for the return of Saturday AM. We've got some big stuff that we're really excited about, but we won't tell you about it until we get closer to the issue come back. So hopefully you can build up this time to get excited about the return of Saturday AM and do other stuff so that when we do come back, you're hungry and you're ready for Saturday AM. We're going to come back with new Apple Black, new Bully Eater, new Saigami, and some surprises that you won't be expecting. So very, very excited about that. So that comes back on the 31st. If you do not subscribe, or if you didn't know about our subscription, we offer the best deal in comics. And so what that means is that Saturday AM, as a digital manga publication, has exclusive content that you can only find inside of Saturday AM. Not only, these are some of the hottest webcomic creators, from White Manga to Wally Wynn, Andrea Voros, and so on. Not only does it have that material, but each issue is close to 100 pages of content. That if you were to buy them individually, they're just $1.99. That is better than the Walking Dead comic, which you get on Comixology for $2.99, the same price, I might add, as it is in print. I give total shout outs to Robert Kirkman. He's a hero of mine. And while I wouldn't agree, well, I don't agree with that as a consumer from a business standpoint, I'm like, hey, if Robert Kirkman can get you to pay $3 for a book that has no physical print version of it, when the physical print version costs $3, if he can get you to pay the exact same price for the digital version, more power to him. But we don't think that way in terms of what we do. And so we're very proud that we have the best deal in comics. The best deal in comics means that you can get 20 issues, nearly 100 pages of content per issue, featuring original, highly demanded webcomic creators from around the web for just $5 a year. I'm happy to say that we'll be doing the exact same thing for 2015. However, we are going to be announcing a premium subscription model, which will cost more money and give you much more as a result of that, including some manga that are not going to be featured in Saturday AM at all. So some exclusive content that you just cannot get anywhere. No Tapastic, no Ink Blazers, no Smack Jeeves, no other websites. You can only get it by being a subscriber to our premium service. Not to mention, you'll be getting the early access of Saturday Plus. And we've also got some really huge, cool things that we're going to be doing as well. Private things for special, for basically for this special type of club consumers. So we're really excited about the new premium versions of scripting we're going to be offering. It's going to be a bit more money, but we think again, it's still the best deal in comics. When you look at the things that you could pay for a monthly comic like Walking Dead or Justice League from DC Comics or Avengers from Marvel, you're talking about paying $3, $4, $5 for a single 30-some page issue, maybe 40 pages of comic book content. Whereas with us, you're getting nearly 100 pages of really quality stuff. Apple Black period is hugely quality. Saigami, of course, as well, and so on. You're talking about getting all that material for $1.99 per issue or just $5 for a year. That's the best deal in comics. And for the new premium model, when we announce everything that you're going to be getting as a result of that, again, that trumps anything else that any of the other big companies are doing, including Marvel Unlimited or Comixology subscription model. So we are really excited about the subscription plan. Again, we'll be announcing that further into the month of January as we get closer to Saturday, January 31st. Afternoon WebEx will also be returning in January. We're going to be making a big announcement about that. That will be tying into Saturday AM and Saturday Plus much more intimately than before. We've got some really exciting things happening around that, which, again, we'll talk about that when the time is right. One thing I will say is that you can expect to see a definite crossover between Saturday AM and Afternoon WebEx in terms of creators and content. For example, Saturday AM property Comatose has a new spinoff called Omniconscious, which just debuted on Christmas Day on WebEx, and you can expect to see more WebEx material like that from top Saturday AM creators. So we're really excited about where WebEx is going. It is every bit as important of a line for us in terms of webcomics as Saturday AM is. And again, if you had to compare all three of them, Saturday AM is our flagship property. Saturday Plus is our property for brand new creators. And WebEx is a really exciting, diverse line of really eclectic material from top webcomic creators around the world, from David Yoon to Andrew Sterling out of Canada to Mariel Villarreal out of Mexico, and some really exciting new creators who will be coming up very soon. So hope you guys look forward to this new year. We have a lot of big stuff happening. Let's see, we got some new questions, I think. Let me go back to these new questions. Okay. All right, so let's see, Commemorate Gamble just said he's late. Thank you for that, Commemorate. And then we have so we have a great question from a new member here, Grant. His name is Grant. Grant Manga. Let's see here. Grant basically asked, he says he has a couple of questions. So Grant, feel free to ask those questions. I had to approve you as a member of the group. He says, as an editor yourself, what qualities do you think, that's me, I guess, that a creator needs to have that many other editors overlook? So that's an excellent question, Grant. It's a really, really excellent question. I think there are lots of qualities that in the case of webcomics in particular, let me be very clear about this. Webcomics in particular, I think there are a lot of issues for webcomics in particular, in qualities that creators need to have. The first quality, hands down, that a creator needs to have for webcomics is consistency, just consistency. Webcomics, again, many of the creators who do webcomics are very young. Many of them are not trained in any particular way. Incredibly talented, but talent does not make you a creator. That's one of the things that we say over and over again. Just like having likes on Facebook does not mean you have fans. These are two of the biggest things that I tell every creator who comes into our group is that you do not have any fans if they've never spent money on you. I don't care if you've got 20,000 followers on Instagram or Facebook. If they've never had to make a choice between supporting your work or buying a Happy Meal, then you do not have a fan. You may think you have fans, but you don't have fans. And that is, for webcomics, something that I think, again, many creators need to learn that lesson ASAP. Number two is that if you are not like I said, I can give the creators who come to Saturday AM all sorts of information. I can give them all sorts of tools. I can give them all sorts of insights. I can't give you ambition. If you think your work is that great, you can produce it once and then, go, play with your friends, play Destiny all day, and, post on Twitter all day long, and get into, get into depressed modes about your girlfriend or your boyfriend or what have you. But not create the work that has a real shot of eventually making you money and building you opportunity to have real fans. If you don't commit to that versus other things, then it's very difficult to see how you stand out as a creator. You've got to want it. It's like any other creative endeavor. If you want to be a singer, then you got to want it. There are singers born every day. Watch American Idol. There are singers born every day. Pretty singers, singers who can hit certain levels of octaves. There are singers born every day. You've got to work at it to be a good singer. The analogy I use all the time is I'm a big fan of soccer. I'm a big fan of basketball. You have to have talent to be able to, bounce the basketball and dribble it pretty well. You have to have talent to be able to kick a soccer ball, pretty consistently, playing that little game called keepy-uppy. But skill, the actual practice of being able to do a free kick for soccer and bend that ball around a bunch of guys so it goes into the net in the corner of the net. Or for basketball, to be able to do a pump fake and control the ball when you then are able to shift your body weight just enough to do a layup where the ball kind of reverses, hits the backboard, and goes in. To be able to do stuff like that, that takes skill. And skill comes from practice. It doesn't come from talent. It comes from practice. Far too many webcomic creators rely on the quick, easy grab. They post on the sites that never ask them to do anything. People like an image that they did, or they like a basic couple of pages that they did. They get a lot of fans, people who click like and yes, and so on and so forth. And then when it comes time to try to, make money at it, they're stymied because they can't figure out why no one's giving them money. But they never ask for money. They've never treated what they do as if it deserves the respect of those individuals who they want to have as customers and fans. And so if you can't have respect for what you do, if you can't believe in the art form of webcomics, then as an editor, the first thing I say is that we're probably not the best fit for you. You've got to have consistency. You got to be willing to do this even when you're sick. If you're producing a webcomic and you're producing it every week, you got to be willing to do that every week. You can't take vacations. You can't, be like, if you get sick, you got to, just like if you had a real job, and this is what I talk about all the time about ages. If you had, as you get older, you realize very quickly that the world does not care. You get sick and you got bills to pay, you go to work. When you're younger, you think, oh, well, that's just not right. I shouldn't have to go to work. As you get older, you realize that you don't have a choice. Webcomics should be the exact same thing. You get sick, you get depressed, you get frustrated, you get this, that, and the other. If you've made a commitment to tell a story to fans and you've built up a sort of relationship with these fans where they expect that content, you owe it to them to believe in what you're doing enough to trump the other things going on that you're willing to commit to it. The greatest athletes, the greatest singers have all had setbacks. They've all practiced and sacrificed and fought to get what they want it to be. Same thing with actors. This is a creative, lonely medium that if it's ever going to get to where it needs to be, it's going to require people to be consistent, to be focused, and to be determined. So, people ask me, what qualities do you have to have? That's the very first quality. That's the very first quality, is that you've got to be willing to fight for this opportunity. You've got to believe in what you're trying to do. You've got to be willing to give everything to it. People come along and invest in you with some constructive criticism, you better take it. I can assure you that the average fan that you have who likes your post on Facebook or really likes that image of Ryu that you did on Twitter, I can assure you that they're not going to give you any real constructive criticism because they're just a fan themselves. They want to do what you do maybe 3 years down the road, which is just post cool pictures on the internet. But when it comes time to paying your phone bill, paying your cable bill, paying your internet bill, when it comes time to trying to have a family, they're not going to be around because you've not built that trust of fandom. They've not had, you've never asked them to sacrifice the same way you sacrifice to create the content. You never asked them to sacrifice to support your work instead of doing something else. Beyonce is super popular. I've got a lot of Beyonce songs that I've listened to on the radio or I've got on my iPhone through Spotify. But if that chick came to North Carolina to do a concert and she does, I'm not paying $100 to go see her. I'm not that type of fan. And that's the difference. That's the difference. When someone sacrifices for your art, you got a fan. And right now, I can assure you, most of the people in our Pilot Mind group would not the first idea about having a real fan. So you've got to have that desire. You got to have that reality. You got to have that desire, that determination, that consistency to succeed. And of course, you got to have the talent, and you got to be willing to work to improve that talent. Let's see. We've got some more questions here. Let's see. Let's see here. Kinshaw asks another question. He asks, why do I think that Ink Blazers failed? And now that it has unfortunately failed, many artists have moved into Pastic. As Saturday AM reached out to some of the artists that were previously published in Ink Blazers to try to recruit them to the Saturday AM team. I don't know why Ink Blazers failed. I don't know the answer to that. There are some things that that struck me as interesting. I'm hoping to maybe do an interview with some of them in the future, so I don't want to prejudge too much about it. But I will say that from the beginning, when we set up MyFutprint, given my business background, I was determined that we were going to operate in a way that made sense. And so that's what we do. We have spent money to make our company better. We've reinvested a lot of our revenues to make our company better, to make our website better. And people can see that. I think everybody who goes to our website can see the improvements that we've made. We've hit all of our goals. We said with the commitments we made to our fans a year ago, we met and we exceeded. No one asked us for a 21st issue. No one really asked us for 20 issues. We gave them. We said we were going to do 20 issues. We did 20 issues. We said we were going to have the top creators. We had many of the top creators, from Mikhail Dingle to White Manga, so on. We gave them more than what they asked for. We gave them Saturday Plus, Pilot Manga, Test Flights, Saturday Tanks, which they had asked for, but no one really thought we'd do it. And then a special issue of Saturday AM. No one Afternoon WebX. No one asked us to do that. So again, our commitment that we made and that we felt like made us something that we wanted to accomplish, or something that we thought was unique for us as a business. We made that commitment. We stuck to that commitment, and we followed through on that commitment. With Ink Blazers and some of the other guys, I don't really know. I don't know what they're about. I don't know what they're about, and I think that's why I want to interview them and find out, what happened. But I can honestly say that when you talk to our fans, and you guys know this because you guys are our fans, when you guys talk to people about us, you're able to say something about how you feel with Saturday AM. I've never heard anyone tell me how they feel about these other websites. And so that, I think, is one of the challenges that exists in webcomics, is that it's very difficult to create a sense of purpose. You've got to have it, and people can tell when you don't. And so with Ink Blazers, I don't know what went wrong. I don't know what they were about in the first place. I just know that they had a business model that said, hey, give us your free content. We'll post it. I assume they made money off the advertising. But then from there, it's like, how it went wrong, I have the slightest idea. Something clearly didn't work. I know that the letter that I read said they mentioned a $65,000 a month number, which is a high burn rate. But where that money was going, I think they had like $20,000 they gave to creators, but I don't know. I just don't know what all happened to it. I don't know. So hopefully we'll find out, and if we do, you'll be able to read it in Saturday AM. As far as the creators who went to Tapastic, we're very close to many of the creators. We're actually pretty close to quite a few of the top creators there. We'll be announcing some stuff, I can tell you, but for the most part, um, you know, Islanders by Leonardo Massip, who's a major talent. Comet Man by Frederick Ward, who's a major talent. Animale by Philippa Borman, who's a major talent. Justin Onision's Gray Zone. I mean, these are 4 creators who we've published who've never been featured on any of those websites before. And their properties are Saturday AM properties to the T. They're original, they're unique, they're exciting, they're funny. So, you know, if the question is, or if someone asks me, would I rather take talent from these other websites, or would I rather build our own talent? I'd rather build our own talent. But there are creators that we know personally that we're big fans of. There are creators who we know personally who we'd love to work with. And so, you know, there may be a situation where we announce some stuff with future creators. But, you know, it's not for us. I mean, you know, if they're happy with Tapasik, that's great. We want to see their work. And I like Tapasik's layout design. So, you know, hey, you know, as long as I continue to read certain manga that I like, whether I'm publishing it or not, that's really all that matters. But again, as I said before about Ink Blazers, you know, we have a focus and a really determined nature about what we're trying to do. Our business mission has never changed. We've achieved the stuff we wanted to achieve. We're now on phase 2 of what we're trying to do. Nothing that I laid out years ago in terms of our business plan has changed at all. So, you know, we're not in any way bothered by what Tapasik does or Ink Blazers does. We just, you know, we're just doing our own thing. Let's see. Kamani Jackson writes, I'm interested in knowing, how does your cover system work? Do you commission artists or have a schedule on who draws the cover for that issue? Also, how important do you think the cover of a comic webcomic is? It's a great question, Kamani. So we have a system where basically what we try to do is basically we have a system, where the creators know what issue they're going to do. That's the main thing, is that we have a system where the creator knows what they're going to do, and so they do it. But we do try to focus the covers for issues of Saturday AM or Saturday Plus around either something major that's happening in one of the works, or whatever's going to be the main story of that issue. So if Islanders is going to have, like, for example, we know the Islanders right now is in the middle of a giant fight battle. They're in the middle of a giant fight that's getting ready to break off. And so Saturday Plus issue number 3 is going to be a Leonardo Massip cover. But then after that, you know, whether or not the cover is Justin Onision's Gray Zone, who knows, you know. But we try to focus it around the content as we know. And then in some cases, you know, we do these big jam covers where all the characters are together. So we have a system that we put into it, but for the most part, that's it. We have a system we put into it, and we try to focus it around the content in the issue. As far as the concept about how important I think the cover of a comic webcomic is, I think it's always important. I think it's important because it's always important. You know, every comic has a cover. Every comic has a cover. I will say that, you know, when you look at the covers within Saturday AM, Saturday Plus, just like our content, they follow a Western sensibility. So if you look at the covers for Weekly Shonen Jump or Weekly Shonen Sunday or Akita Shonen or any of the manga publications in Japan, they don't fit the same aesthetic model that ours is very much in the English Western speaking world, which is where you have where you have kind of an action oriented context. You know, whereas in Japan, you know, it might be characters doing silly stuff. It might be a lot of, it might be full of text, and like the characters is kind of hidden in the text. You know, with us, we try to go for the action-oriented concept. We're far more interested in posting things that excite people to want to check out our book as opposed to, you know, something else. So, yeah, that's kind of how we look at that. So. We got about 10 more minutes. If there are any more questions regarding our stuff, please submit them. Just to recap a couple of things, as I said before, our Saturday Tanks line has launched. It's done exceptionally well. I hope everyone here is participating within the Saturday Tanks. I hope you've had a chance to buy it. It's $12.99 for the physical version, and it's a very big book. It's 6 by 9, so it's bigger than the average manga volume from like Viz. And maybe you've seen the pictures of it. It looks fantastic. So really, really excited about. I mean, really excited about it. I can't tell you guys how excited I am about it. And those of you who support us with it, thank you very, very much. And those of you who haven't, I hope you do check it out. And again, the digital version also is worth checking out. It includes all the new content that's in the physical version. So it's in black and white. Some of the content in the digital version is in color, though. So again, that's one of the benefits of the digital version. And it's cheaper, just $9.99. So hopefully, if you love Apple Black and you love Saturday AM, you will support that. We've announced all of our tanks for the rest of the next 5 months, and so we'll have Sagami launching in February around Valentine's Day. And then March, we have Comatose by Wally Wynn. Very excited about that. And then in April, we have a two shotgun approach. We have or two gun approach. We have Bully Eater by Raymond Brown, which is going to be really fun. It's going to be rebuilt in some parts. And then Spoon, which is our first Afternoon WebEx property by David Yoon. Again, very exciting. Everything's going to be really fun stuff. David is he's one of my favorite creators, and so I think it's going to be good stuff that we have there. So hopefully you guys will check that out, because we're very excited about the tanks program, and then we'll announce the next set of tanks after that. Some of the tanks will probably surprise you. They're coming up, but we're pretty excited about all that. Saturday Plus returns January 10th. Afternoon WebEx we will be announcing soon. And Saturday AM returns January 31st. And we will have two new subscriptions. We'll have a new subscription model for that as well, a premium subscription model, which hopefully you'll check out. We'll be announcing stuff with Saturday Q&A, which is our YouTube series where we interview creators. We'll be announcing the next phase of that, even though we started season 2. Just the Saturday tanks really took a bite out of us. We hadn't got a chance to finish that. So we'll be getting that back on track here soon, I promise. And we have contests for Saturday tanks, by the way. If you love to draw, then you can create some fan art of Apple Black and have a chance to win a digital copy of Saturday AM, of the Saturday tank for Apple Black. Likewise, if you are a fan of, if you like hunts, then you can hunt for something that is a recurring thing inside of Saturday AM issue number 20. You have to buy the issue, or if you subscribe, you have to check it out and comb through the whole issue, whatever series it is, comb through it and see if you can find all the instances of something that happens. And if you can do that, then you get a signed copy of Apple Black Volume 1. So signed by White Manga himself. So you can't beat that. So those are all some of the big things that we have going on. We have some other we have more big announcements that we'll be making closer to our return. But right now, like I said, we're on hiatus. People are taking much needed vacations, and we're getting stuff set for when we return. So we're pretty excited about the future, just across the board. Test flights, again, if you have a chance to enter the test flights, I hope you will. We're really excited about some of the things we're going to do in a test flight, particularly with some of our creators who we think are really talented, and we just haven't had a chance yet to get them through. We're really excited about this new kind of like, put your stuff together and we'll publish it sort of deal. So we're really excited about where we're going with things. So we've got a few more minutes. If there are any questions, feel free to shoot them through. You can literally ask me about anything, and I'll be happy to answer. Again, you can do it through the group chat here within the Google Hangout, or you can chat via the Saturday AM Pilot Manga private group on Facebook, or you can do it via our Facebook fan page, which is www.facebook.com/SaturdayAM/. And I will give a few minutes to see if there's any more questions that come through before we call it a night. I am curious to know, out of those of you who are here, how many of you guys have actually subscribed? How many of you guys actually have checked out Saturday Plus? How many people are actually doing those things? I would try to play some music, but White Manga, who's kind of our YouTube expert, has told me that I'm banned from putting music on while doing one of these live hangouts because then Google says that we stole copyright. So I will not play music for you. All right, so I'm checking the Facebook groups. I'm not seeing any new questions, so I'm assuming then that there are no new questions there to be thrown in, which is fine. Again, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. I know it was assembled at the very last minute, but again, I can't tell you guys enough how much we appreciate your support. When I started this whole endeavor over a year ago, I knew that this was going to be really difficult for us to do. That the webcomic space is like a wild west, and that there are very few people who've actually been able to succeed at it. But we have some very strong ambitions, and we believe very seriously that we're going to be able to do things the right way, and that we've got some really innovative ideas to take the webcomic space into directions that it needs to go. So we're really excited about what we're doing, really excited about the future, and we intend to cause a revolution in the comic book webcomic space. And your support of us, whether it's through subscriptions, telling your friends about us, purchasing a T-shirt from us, or another piece of merchandise that we produce, supporting our Saturday tanks, or just simply being a part of these type of public calls and so forth, AMAs. We just really appreciate it. I don't know if we say that enough. I try to say it all the time, but we really, really appreciate it. Because again, as I said before, those of you who are seriously thinking about doing this, it's very lonely. This is a very lonely business profession. It's not even a real profession yet. Whenever you create stuff, you live in your head the whole time. And you might have one or two people that you can tell the idea to who can give you back a reaction. But for the most part, it's just you. It's you living in your head. And so one of the reasons I created this group was to give a sense of community to not just our creators, but then through Pilot Manga, to give a sense of community through the creators who want to be creators. People who maybe, start out wanting to draw comics, realize they're maybe not that good, or that they don't have the right ideas. But then they love the industry so much, they love the friends they made so much, they discover they've got a real knack for editing, or for being a designer, or for being a letterer, or being a colorist. And that's how this industry is going to move forward. It's for people to really embrace whatever they can do to take the credibility of the art form of webcomics to the next level. So again, the small part of that of just simply supporting us and things like this is something that we cannot tell you how much we appreciate. And again, of course, all support we've gotten for our subscriptions this year, as well as Saturday Tanks, is just through the roof, and we appreciate it. Thank you so much. Last question, I believe this last question is from McClam Changemeyer, who actually asked our very first question. So we will appreciate answering his question. He's got a question here saying, actually two questions, three questions. Sorry, we had three questions came at the last minute. So McClaim asked, with the Pilot Manga test flights, will there always be a 5-page maximum? And the answer to that is no. We alter the rules, change for test flights every month. So, sometimes we might say, hey, here's a story, draw it or create it, or here's the start of a story and I finish it, or here's the ending of a story and I give us the beginning. We may say you got 10 pages of this. We may say you got 5 pages to do that. We're gonna always try to do stuff and to challenge you as a creator. Again, our job is to simulate what a professional scenario like this would look like. And so that means you're going to interact with editors. You're going to be pushed to justify some of the choices that you're making. You're going to be asked to consider data that tells you about the sort of creative audience that you're appealing to. And you're going to be asked to think outside of the box. And so that means sometimes that, you don't have all the pages in the world. Just because it's digital doesn't mean you have all the pages in the world to create a story with. We're in the business of entertainment, meaning you're in the business of entertainment if you work with us. So, the idea that you've got, page upon page upon page to tell a story, that becomes a crutch. And sometimes you have to think outside of the box to start thinking in an innovative way. We have to get you out of the box and force you into another type of box for you to start thinking of different ideas. And so the test flights will always be different. They'll always offer different ideas and requests of you. and we expect you to manage them, meet them. Let's see. Keith Williams asked one question. He says, how many chapters make an arc? Also, Saturday Plus is pretty cool. Thank you, Keith. Thank you very much for that. And there is no answer to how many chapters make an arc. There's no answer to that. I mean, there's no definition that supports 7 or 8 or 9. There's no answer to it. So the bottom line is that what we look at more so is this. The Saturday tanks that we will publish, like most tankobons or manga volumes that you see from your favorite manga like Naruto and so forth, the conventional wisdom is that they're around 200 pages. So we set rules in place that we've made public via the tanks page on our website, www.saturday-am.com/tanks, TANKS. If you go there, you will see that we've got a host of things that you can expect to find. One of them being that you will never find less than 150 pages worth of content in a tank. There are some publishers who do that. We won't be one of them. So you'll always find a tank that's got at least 150 pages of content. Content, that doesn't mean extra material. That's just story. So 150 pages, that could be 6 chapters, that could be 8 chapters, that could be 9 chapters. 200 pages or 250 pages could be even more. So it just depends on the storyteller, how they tell the story. Obviously, the way that we're structured in terms of every issue, the creators, their page counts kind of differ. That, versus Weekly Shonen Jump, where the top guys are expected to pop out 17 to 20 pages every week. We're not at that level. So for us, basically just, we're going to basically push our creators to tell an exciting story, and we're going to work with them to develop that story for what essentially becomes an arc. And then how that arc comes about in terms of how much of it fits into a volume or a tank is going to be the question that we answer at that point. But we'll probably get better at being able to do that. But for right now, I don't have a plan about you got to have 7 chapters, because again, we publish in a different way than everybody else. Kinshaw Mashad has a question. He asks, he says, I'm subscribed, but I'll have to renew my subscription soon. I'm really digging Gray Zone. My question is, will all the tanks be 6x9, and what was the reason for making it that size? So the short answer is, a couple of things. First of all, thank you for subscribing. Like I said, it's something that, we take it very seriously. And as many of our fans know, and many of the people who dislike our company know, I don't hide at all. I'm very blunt. I'm blunt with our creators. I'm blunt with our fans. And, I appreciate you subscribing. I think I'm always amazed when I meet creators who are like, who are asking us all these questions about Saturday AM, like, do we get paid? And, like, well, what can you do with this? Can you do this? And they don't subscribe to the magazine. I think there's something sad about that, because, either you're just someone who's just kind of a butthead, or you are someone who is that clueless. But it's like, we're not doing this for your benefit. We're doing it for the benefit of the creators. And so to support, so if you want to be one of those creators and therefore fit within that system, the least you can do is subscribe and support the system to help create that system, so that when your time comes, you are also in a position to benefit. And so thank you for subscribing, basically. Let's see. And thank you for the thing about Gray Zone. That's one of my favorite ones too. Justin is a very talented guy. His artwork is growing so rapidly that I expect where Justin will be a year from now. Like I said, when someone asked me before about Ink Blazers and whether or not we want to try to get those creators, when you have guys like Justin Anissione and Philippa Borman and Frederick Ward and Leonardo Massip and some of the other creators we have coming on in the future, when you have creators of that type of talent level, who with a year of consistency could be the next white manga or other types of creators, that's just crazy. I mean, it's just like, why would we try to worry about other creators when we've got that type of talent? And we're creating that type of talent through test flights. So yeah, I think, so thank you for the plug for Gray Zone. We chose 6x9 somewhat by necessity, other part by design. And basically, I mean, it's too boring to talk about. I'll just say that, again, this is business, and we start looking at some of the financial responsibilities of creating this stuff. You realize sometimes that sometimes you make choices that way. So we made a choice based on some of the financial realities that we had to deal with, and 6x9 worked. It came out looking fantastic. And if you've seen the one picture that we posted where it's sitting surrounded by Viz manga, and it just looks so strong and so beautiful. It's that's where we feel really excited about. That's the part that makes us really excited. So yeah, we're really excited about where it's at, and 6x9 is a size, and yes, all the tanks that we do in the future will be 6x9. They'll all be 6x9, and they'll all look like what you saw with Apple Black. So you'll notice that unlike a lot of other web comics that have been produced, ours have a trade dress to them. They actually have a look that all of them will have. So when you put them on a shelf in a retail store, they'll look really unique. So we're really excited about that. Let's see here. We've got one more question here from Grant. I believe this is probably the last question. I'm not sure, but we'll see here. Yeah, so Grant Manga asks, he says, how much does the creator have a say in story and art? Some editors ask for specific changes, for example, toning down violence. And then he says, by the way, I am subscribed to Saturday, got to renew probably. And I also bought White's volume for Apple Black, Volume 1. Great work on the team. So thank you. Thank you for those last couple of comments. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for buying Apple Black Volume 1. And thanks for just supporting us. So for your question, how much say does the creator have? I mean, the creator, our creators all own their properties. That's, that's a huge thing. Our creators all own their own properties. We do not own their properties. They own their properties. So without getting into too much of the conversations, because frankly, it's a little proprietary about how we work with our creators. What I'll say is that we have a partnership. We have a partnership with all our creators, and basically we work with them to achieve the best storytelling experience for the readers, and they work with us to produce the best manga that they can produce. And so from that perspective, it's a partnership. We will challenge every creator on certain things, and we expect the creators to meet the challenge. And that's pretty much it. But I mean, the creators own their own comics, so you can take that as saying basically the creators have, all the say that they want to have because it's their creation. So I think that's going to be it. McClan asked one more question. He says, "Will Bully Eater and Apple Black be in the next issue?" And I don't want to say right now because we want to announce Apple Black. I mean, we want to announce Saturday AM issue number 21. We want to announce that. So like I said, I don't want to say too much about what's going to be in the issue, but I think it's going to be very exciting for people, and that's all I can say right now. So that's it. I really appreciate it, guys. I want to thank you all for checking out this Q&A with the publisher, me, Frederick Jones. We will be doing more of these, and again, we have such big plans for 2015. I cannot wait for you guys to find out all the things we have happening. And obviously, we won't reveal everything immediately, but we certainly will reveal some stuff for the next couple of weeks with the new subscription and so forth, and that will give you some idea of the stuff we're doing. And then we've got other later throughout the year that will just blow your mind. So really excited. This has been an amazing 2014. I hope you guys have wonderful holidays, and I hope you guys have huge New Year celebrations. Just do it big, have a good time, enjoy your life. And 2015 is going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of fun too. It's going to be a lot of big stuff we're doing. So thank you for supporting us, and we will talk soon. Take care.